Hello, and good morning, or evening, or afternoon, or whatever it is, wherever you are. Because for me, it's currently about 20 past 9. Um, I had a few things to do this morning. So let's jump right into the news. Oh god, that sounded like Keemstar. Like a worse Keemstar. Oh, let me just bring up the live dashboard as well so I can have a little look at that. Bring this up over here. I tell you, I woke up to the stupidest news this morning. One of the first things that I see when I wake up is that Andy Warski has trademarked liberalist. And fucking hell. I mean, he certainly likes to cause a shit show. You gotta give the dude that at least. He causes a shit show, and people react. He's not as good at baiting as someone like, say, Medica, but he's definitely doing a good job of baiting a lot of people right now. Anyway, let's have a look at what's going on today. If you got any interesting stories you can send to me, then please do, and I'll have a look at them. No cure for people exposed to nerve agent. I can't believe this is still going on. It seems weird, you know, how there's been, I'm sure, a hell of a lot of assassinations over the years. Just a hell of a lot of political assassinations, of spy assassinations, all that sort of thing. It's been going on for decades and decades and decades, and we rarely ever know about it as it's happening. But this time it's really been screwed up. Completely screwed up. There's, at least on my lifetime, as far as I know, there hasn't been a situation like this where an assassination has happened that has been so thoroughly screwed up to the point where it almost seems deliberate. I mean, not only are they, as far as I'm aware, we'll see, I'm sure there'll be something about that. Yep, 3 remain in hospital. Yeah, they're not even dead yet. So on that front, the assassination has failed, but it's also caused a massive outblow of drama. And this is just a video, isn't it? Fantastic. Thanks, news.com.au. Very informative. 38 more people have been seen by paramedics. 3 remain in hospital, with a 4th being treated as an outpatient. Okay. If you've got a better news service than this, I'm currently using the built-in Oprah news source, which probably isn't optimal, but you know, it's what I use. That and Flipboard. I'm terrible, I know. What have we got here? The Crown paid Queen Elizabeth less than her prince. Oh god, it's one of these. I'm gonna guess that she probably got paid less because she was the less known actress. Hello, pink hair. Claire Foy. Let me just bring this up on my other screen. Claire Foy. Okay. And then, what is her... She starred as Queen Elizabeth in the critically acclaimed Netflix series The Crown. I haven't seen any of that yet. I don't know if I even will. Matt Smith. Okay, I'm starting to see the difference here. If Matt Smith is who I think he is... Yes, it is who I think it is. Okay, let's have a little quick look at their respective careers. Well, apparently according to this... No. Okay, that wasn't the last thing she was in. She's been in a fair few things. Pretty prolific actor. None that particularly stand out to me, but that's probably just a result of me not really watching that much TV. According to IMDb, she's in the top 500 stars. But I don't recognize her name. Matt Smith, however, I absolutely do recognize the name of, because he spent however many years playing Doctor Who. So he's been pretty prolific as well, I think. Let's see what the article goes on to talk about. Oh God, why is it coming up with... No. Nope. It's coming up with a video about Married at First Sight, which I don't want to see anything on, because holy shit. Why does that show exist? Paid less than her co-star Matt Smith, according to the television show's producers. Well, they're owning up to it then, aren't they? Paid more than $4 for the first 2 seasons of the show. Okay, she won a Golden Globe and 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards for her portrayal. Okay. He was not similarly honored. Okay. That doesn't really mean much. Yeah, there you go. The pay difference was due to Smith coming into the show after a 6-year stunt as Doctor Who. 6 years, bloody hell. They would rectify that in the future. No one gets paid more than the Queen. Oh. This is a non-issue. On so many levels, this is a complete non-issue. I mean, they're talking about the salaries of people here, of actresses, and you've got Emma Stone topping out at 26 million, and Mark Wahlberg. How is he the highest paid man? Seriously, that man has a storied history. 68 million. Jesus. Like, we're talking about the richest of the rich here. People that earn so much money. And the complaints here are about pay disparity between jobs that aren't the same. Yes, they're both actors in the same show. That does not mean that they're both doing the same job. When you're talking about entertainment industry, you're not talking about direct comparisons, because every person has an individual value. What that value is determined by their past work, their recent work, their publicity, their fan base, this type of audience that they draw in. It's influenced by a whole range of issues. So you can't say that if one person is not getting paid as much as the other, then it is discrimination. The most likely answer is that one actor has a higher overall value to a show in terms of their, their marketing power than the other. And I think that's the case here. Such a non-story. I have a feeling that's going to be most of the stories. Are we going to actually see the border wall? We'll have a look at that one. I made a good coffee this morning. That is a good coffee. Well, of course he's not going to say he was. Putin asked if Russia was behind the poisoning of Sergei. So, were you behind the political assassination of this man? No, absolutely not. He's not going to be like, yes, we absolutely tried to kill this man. Guess we'll just have to try again when he gets out of hospital. Men should work part-time and see more of their children, says Dame Jenny Murray. And who is Dame Jenny Murray? Dame Jenny Murray is an English journalist and broadcaster, best known for presenting BBC Radio 4's Women's Hour since 1987. Married for the second time with two screens, so that's completely irrelevant. Woman's Hour, which is a radio magazine program broadcast on BBC Radio 4 in the UK. Created by Norman Collins. That sounds like a very feminine name. Very feminine. Presented by women, obviously. If it wasn't, that would be a bit strange. In 2004, the show became Man's Hour for one day only, on which was presented by Channel 4 news anchor Jon Snow. What the fuck am I reading? Okay, let's jump into this one first. Yes, I'm ad blocking. Deal with it. Why should we work part-time, Dame Jenny Murray? What have you got to say? We should be encouraged to work part-time rather than coming home at 7 p.m. and kissing their sleeping children in bed. I'm sure a lot of people would like to, but a lot of people also have to live. Shared parental responsibility for childcare is the most pressing issue for feminism today. Okay, she's actually got something of a point there. It is kind of a pressing issue for feminists today because they've been pushing for the past God knows how long, probably decades at this point. They've been pushing for the breakup of the nuclear family in all its forms. There's a reason that there's so many single mothers today and so relatively few single fathers. You know, well, obviously if there's a single mother, then there's probably a single father, but the way I mean is that being the main or sole carer of the child, the majority are women. So I would say yes, it actually is a pressing issue for feminism, shared parental responsibility, because it does affect the kids, and I think it's gone a bit too far. You know, over the past decade or so, I think it has gone too far. There's been such a massive growth in the amount of single parenthood, and it's not going to be good for the kids. It's just not going to be good for them. Past generations of fathers missed out on time with their young children during the working week, but things should change, Dame Jenny argued. Yes, they should, but how do you then also bring home the bread, so to speak? Take part-time work seriously and make it available to young men. I think men who get it don't want to be the men their fathers were, going out at 7 a.m., coming home at 7 p.m. and kissing their sleeping children in bed. They want to play a more active role in taking care of their children. Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. And a lot of fathers go to great pains to make that possible, while also maintaining the income, maintaining the growth of wealth that they need to give their children the best possible lives. And a lot of people can't even afford that. A lot of people are in situations where they're working full-time, or they're working multiple jobs part-time just to stay afloat and keep their family afloat. That's just the sad truth of it. The veteran BBC presenter also urged men and women to be more open about what they're paid in order to close the gender pay gap. It's seen as mucky to discuss what you earn, but we have to. She's not wrong that we have to discuss this issue, but the gender pay gap's not what most people think it is. Okay, Putin asked if Russia was behind the poisoning of Sergei Skripal. Let's have a little look.
President Putin, BBC News. Is Russia behind the poisoning of Sergei Skripal?
Слушайте, я занимаюсь сельским хозяйством. Как вы видите, это направлено на то, чтобы создать условия для жизни людей. А вы мне говорите о каких-то трагедиях. Вы сначала разберитесь там, а потом мы с вами будем обсуждать.
What a strong answer. Are you behind the poisoning? Let's talk about something else. I mean, really, what could he say? No, we don't want autoplay. Go away. News.com.au. Okay, let's see him inspect the border wall. Yeah.
If you don't have a wall system, we're not gonna have a country.
It's a bit extreme.
We will use the best technology, including above and below ground sensors.
Well, I do have a preference. The problem is you have to have see-through. You have to know it's on the other side of the wall. I mean,
Okay.
You could be 2 feet away from a
Nice,
criminal
beautiful
cartel and
glass
you don't
wall.
even know they're there. So we'll take a look up here. The larger it is, the better it is, because it's very hard to get over the top. It's really deterrent from getting over the top. Who would think? Who would think? But getting over the top is easy. These are like professional mountain climbers. They're incredible climbers. They can't climb some of these walls. Some of them they can. Those are the walls we're not using. But if you didn't have it, you would have a tremendous problem.
Oh, the man's definitely not a... He's a speaker, but he's not a good speaker. Probably because if you eat too many fucking sausages, you're gonna have health problems. Just like if you eat anything else. Just, you need to eat relatively fewer sausages than anything else. Okay. Tillson's been axed? Okay. Need to have a look at that. Okay, this is 2 pictures of him from moments apart. What's happening? What's happening here? He's just backing Theresa May's call for Russian answers. Okay, fair enough. Russian exile found dead in London. They're really offing the Russians. Wow. Case for doing away with gendered language. Yeah. Okay, I haven't actually used this news service for a while, I tend to wake up and just flick through on Flipboard. And I have a feeling that I've avoided seeing a lot of these things. So now I'm seeing them. It's... God damn it. You know? Just flicking through here and I've come across several about gender already. And this has only been going for... what? Maybe 20 minutes? And we've already got, I think, 3 articles that have mentioned gendered language or the gender pay gap or these sorts of things. Jesus. Holy moly. Okay. Let's see. He's axed the US Secretary of State. I'll see if I can bring up something else about that. That's not a video. Because seriously, news.com.au. Can we just have articles? Rex Tillerson fired. Let's bring up something a bit better. Here we go. Here's an actual article. President Trump on Tuesday ousted his Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, extending a shake-up of his administration 14 months into his tumultuous presidency, and potentially transforming the nation's economic and foreign policy. Mr. Trump announced he would replace Mr. Tillerson and Mike Pompeo, with Mike Pompeo even, CIA director and former Tea Party congressman. I mean, it's certainly a choice. I'm not going to say it's a good one, though I'm not going to say that Tillerson was a good one to begin with. More in sync with Mr. Trump's America First credo. Learned had been fired on Tuesday morning when a top aide showed him a tweet from Mr. Trump announcing the change, according to a senior State Department official. He had gotten an oblique warning of what was coming the previous Friday from the White House Chief of Staff, who called to tell him to cut short a trip to Africa and advised him, "You may get a tweet." Imagine being someone so politically powerful and losing that to a tweet. It's the equivalent of being broken up with over text. That's essentially what this is. That's what Trump does. He's the guy who breaks up with someone through text. It's hilarious. It's not good, but it's hilarious. Ooh, strong move there. Making a woman, Gina Haspel, the new director of the CIA. The first woman director of the CIA. That's actually a strong move. Because even though people are going to be criticizing him over the Rex Tillerson firing, they also kind of have to talk about the... Actually, they don't. They probably won't. They probably won't be talking about the first woman director of the CIA, but they should. Because it's exactly the sort of thing that a lot of people have been pushing for. You know, they want more women in powerful positions, and director of the CIA is quite a powerful position. State Department Tuesday afternoon, Mr. Tillerson said the president had called him from Air Force One just afternoon. Oh, yes. Okay. More than 3 hours after Mr. Trump had tweeted the news of his firing to his 49 million followers to inform him personally of the dismissal. I mean, it's a bit late when it's more than 3 hours after you've been fired by tweet, but he plans to immediately step aside from his post, turning over all responsibilities by the end of the day to the Deputy Secretary of State. Fair enough. does he have too much to say on it? You know, oh Jesus, holy moly. I said I'd look for an article about it. I wasn't expecting a long form essay. Case for doing away with gendered language. This ought to be a fun one. Just like Qantas did recently. Have you ever stopped to consider the words we choose to make people feel included or worse, invisible? No, not really. And the reason being is that other people can take offense to whatever they want, and I can't stop them. So I'm not going to try. Qantas is one of the major Australian airlines, in case anybody doesn't know. Just to get that out of the way. They've done a few silly things over the years. I don't particularly like flying with them. They're not that great, in my experience anyway. They recently launched an initiative asking staff to avoid using gendered language such as mum and dad in favour of gender-neutral terms such as parents. But you might know where one parent is, but you might not know where the other is. So where is your other parent? It's just a bit weird. You know, the vast majority of cases in this sort of situation that they seem to be talking about here, it's going to be, you know, where is your mum or where is your dad? That sort of thing, you know? It's not going to be where is your other parent? A kid's not going to know that. At least they shouldn't. By God, I hope they don't. And for once, I'm going to have to agree with Tony Abbott, much to my dismay, because he's told Radio Station 2 it was political correctness that's gone way over the top. And I don't agree with him on much. I mean, have you seen the man? Holy Jesus, what the fuck? But, I mean... he's right. It is political correctness that's gone way over the top. Senior lecturer in gender studies, Lucy Tatman, said it was just good manners. People tend to feel bad when they're misidentified by others in whatever way that misidentification takes place. The problem being that it's a complete non-issue. They tend to feel bad. Okay. They can always say, excuse me, please refer to me as such and such, and anybody that wants to will. Anybody that doesn't want to, you can't force them to. Airline's Spirit of Inclusion initiative suggests staff replace terms such as mum and dad with parents, and husband or wife with spouse or partner. It just seems unnecessary, you know? You can't remove gender from the language. You can't. And hell, it's not even worth trying. It's not going to happen. You can't just kind of remove gender. Some languages are entirely gendered. Pretty much everything is gendered in some way or another. And the only way that you can deal with that is by essentially completely remaking the language. That's not the case in English. Not everything here is gendered, but you're not going to be able to change this. Not really. It's not going to happen. So many partners and couples that are not husband and wife. Could be a heterosexual couple that have decided not to marry. Could be husband and husband, or wife and wife now, but it's impossible to know. Just leaving it open doesn't hurt anyone. No, it doesn't, but I mean, there's certain cases where you can feel pretty safe in using the terms wife or husband or mum and dad, and in those cases you should probably just go with what feels natural. I don't think anybody's going to be so thrown out of whack by a couple of words that it's worth trying to change our language so much. Gendered language could have the effect of making people feel omitted. For example, when using the word mankind to describe all humans, more than half the population is overlooked. The ridiculousness of the use of the word mankind to refer to everyone is best highlighted when you replace it with the word womankind, which we all recoil and go, wait, you've just excluded about half the human race, she said. By using the neutral term humankind, no one was excluded, she said. Our language is extraordinarily gendered. Okay, let me just let me just bring this up for a moment. Okay, let's just go definition, origin. Here we go. And let's see. Let's bring this over here. We've got dictionary.com. Definition of mankind. The human race. Human beings collectively without reference to sex. Humankind. Let's look at the origin of mankind. Middle English. See, origin of mankind. This is, let's see, British Dictionary definitions. Many people object to the use of mankind to refer to all human beings and use the term humankind instead. Okay. Humankind, mankind, man, it's not a gendered word. Not in this example. It is mankind as in man. Man, not male. There's a difference. The etymology of these words do not match up with what these people are saying. It's not... It is a completely gender-neutral term. It's like saying you can't say human because it's got man in it. You can't say human. You got to say ish. Humish. There you go. We're a humish species. No. We're human. M-A-N. It doesn't mean anything gendered. And you see this all the time. This is a professor, I believe, a doctor of gender studies, who's arguing about things that she is either willfully ignorant of, or perhaps just ignorant of. I won't apply malice to it, but ignorant of it nonetheless. And she's trying to use this... We seem to have dogs going a little bit wild out there. Anyway, terms often used to refer to women such as honey, darling, or dear were infantilizing. How about the terms that are used for men, of which there are some? You know, boy, you've got... You know, just because I can't think of them right now doesn't mean they don't exist. I've been called some pretty infantilizing things throughout the years. I know that much. Not honey, darling, or dear. Actually, no, I've been called dear. It's not necessarily a female-only word. It's not okay to refer to a group of women in their 50s and 60s as the girls, but you will probably refer to a group of men in their 50s and 60s as the boys. I've seen that happen. These are post-menopausal women, and it diminishes their stature as human beings to refer to them as a bunch of girls. A bunch of guys. Sorry, it's a group of women and a group of males. Nobody gives a shit. The resurgence of they. Dr. Tatman said the English language was changing in favour of more gender-neutral words, in general, including a return to an older use of the word they. Back in the 16th century, it was commonplace in English for the word they just to be a pronoun that could refer to anyone in a gender non-specific fashion, and that's making a comeback now. No, it's always been the case. It's always been the case. They has always been a gender-neutral term. It's just not... Okay, you refer to somebody as they when you don't know if it is a male or a female or how they identify. Yes? You say, what are they doing? Instead of, what is he or she doing? Yeah? But you can also refer to somebody that you know the gender of as they. You can say, you know, exactly that sentence, but they. It works perfectly fine. But the vast majority of people, when referring to somebody that they know, will use he or she, not they. You use they in a group form, you use they in a undefined form, and you use they in a general form. But it's not making a comeback as a gender non-specific pronoun. It's always been a gender non-specific pronoun. And there's no need to push it to be a gender non-specific pronoun. God damn it, I don't want to say those words anymore. Advising their staff that the use of the word settlement when describing the arrival of Europeans to Australia is really inaccurate, and they should use words like invasion, occupations, colonization, Dr. Tatman said. I would expect that this one is going to cause some eyebrows to raise because the language they are pointing their staff in the direction of is just really accurate. If it's really accurate, why would you expect eyebrows to be raised? Is it because that's just not accurate? Was it an invasion? No. Not in the technical sense of the word. It wasn't a nation, so it wasn't an invasion. It could be considered an occupation of the land, which, yes, it is. A colonization? Yes, absolutely. Settlement? Yes, absolutely. But it's also just, it's the history of the world. Everybody has been conquered at some point. Some more horrifically than others. And, you know, it sucks. But that's human history. And trying to sanitize that, or if you try to demonize one particular example, you also have to demonize all the other examples, which means you have to demonize humans as a species, which I'm sure some people are quite willing to do. So, you know, whatever. Russian exile Nikolai Gushlov found dead in London 8 days after Skripal poisoning. He's a businessman associated with a prominent critic of the Kremlin. Okay, so this is why he's dead, probably. He's probably been financing anti-Kremlin propaganda or something like that. Oh, the last bit of my coffee was cold. That's disappointing. Associate of Boris Berezovsky, a Russian oligarch and Kremlin critic who died in London in 2013. inquest failed to determine whether he had killed himself or died from foul play. Okay, so we're talking about a string of Russian people who have died. And they all, in some way, have been against the Kremlin. With Sergei, he was a double agent, essentially. So there's the reason that Russia would want him gone. With Boris Berezovsky, we've got a Russian oligarch who is a Kremlin critic who, you know, he's criticizing the Kremlin. They're not going to be that happy with him. And we've got Glushkov, Nikolai Glushkov, who was associated with Berezovsky and was likely... Actually, he probably didn't need to fund it. We're talking about Berezovsky here, who was a Russian oligarch. I'm sure he had plenty of money. Nonetheless, they probably were in some way financially linked to some form of propaganda or work against the Russian government. And that's probably why they were assassinated. And I know it says it fails to determine whether Berezovsky killed himself or died from foul play. But when you add in these other cases into the mix, I think you're probably looking more at foul play. Let's see. Does it say specifically how Glushkov seems to have died? No, it doesn't. But let's be honest here, it's likely another case of Russia getting a little bit over the top and doing some really horrible things. So I reckon we'll look at a couple more stories, and then I'll head off. So we'll just see if we can find anything good. Can opinion polls actually predict elections? We'll have a look at that one. Yeah. We'll end on 3-fingered mummies found in Peru that could be aliens. That sounds like a fantastic thing to end with. But we'll just have a quick look to see if there's anything that we should do. Have a look at in the meantime. Prince William reveals Prince George may already have his dream job. He's a prince. I think he's going to be able to do pretty much whatever he wants. There's not going to be many obstacles in his way, and any obstacles that are in his way can be removed with money. Mysteriously poisoned. No, it wasn't mysterious. Okay, let's see. Okay. We'll go to the... Okay. I'm from South Australia. That's what SA here is. South Australia. We're having an election soon. March 17th, as it says down here. We don't really have any good candidates. We're very much the same as the rest of the world in that. Politicians suck. They really, really suck. Alison, a health professional in Gula, it's a suburb town in the city, pretty much. Actually, it's a bit away from the city. I haven't been to Gula in years. How accurate has polling data been at predicting South Australian election outcomes? political watcher who's also always wondered whether or not polls are any good at predicting who will win an election. I mean, it's pretty variable, isn't it? I mean, look at what happened in 2016 in America. All the polls were saying, Hillary's going to win, Hillary's going to win. Trump can never win. And then he did win, and, well, we've got him now. So, got to make do with what you got. They tend to dominate in the media. You hear a lot about news polls, but I wondered if that translated into what we're doing in the ballot box. Politicians will tell you the only poll that matters is the one on election day, which, yes, that's kind of true, although other polls will influence other people. The poll was close to the actual result last election that we had. Is there any... Why is Trump here? This is about South Australia. We don't have very much to do with Trump. Just because the party seems more popular in a statewide poll doesn't mean they'll win more seats. No shit. So we vote based on electorates. Overall voting intentions statewide can't capture the intricacies of different electorates. Yes. Regional seats often lean more towards conservative parties. That's true of everywhere. Liberal Party might perform well in a poll. Support might be locked up in regional electorates. Yes. Yeah, this article has come to the same conclusion that I think anybody would. Can polls predict elections? Sometimes. What they're actually saying is that no, they can't. But sometimes the end result is the same as the poll, because that's just, it's going to happen. Sometimes the poll's going to be right, sometimes they're going to be wrong. Can you use them to judge if something's going to be right? No. You can't. There's no point trying. Three-fingered mummies found in Peru could be aliens. Okay, let's end on this one. Let's see what this shit is about.
Within moments of our arrival, we too had to dress in the same surgical gowns and masks, and body after body was presented to us to film and document.
This looks very official. Very official. Look at this. It's beautiful.
You can see the teeth. And what we've got here is the side of the skull showing the teeth, which could be obviously from fish. Doesn't look like human teeth. And you can see the rib cage. It looks like it's manufactured. The arm length down here to its lower than its knees, and of course the feet at the bottom.
You can't just write news and expect that to work. Let's see if I can bring up another article about this. Three-fingered mummy, Peru. Let's get some articles up about this. Let's see. No. Is there any are there any outlets here that are worth... Okay, we'll look at these ones. I'll bring these up over here. So pop this one on here, and this one as well. And the one from 9 News. Oh, nope. Nope, we don't want none of that. And this one here. We'll have a quick flick through these. Okay, so we got another one from news.com.au. A set of three-fingered mummies recently discovered in Peru are not human and could be aliens, a scientist has claimed. The Sun reports... You know you're off to a bad start when you start with The Sun reports. Professor Konstantin Korotkov from the Russian National Research University as saying the supposedly ancient remains are humanoid, but not Homo sapien. Professor Korotkov has examined mummies found by colleagues in Nazca, Peru, which date back as far as 65,000 years. He told Sputnik News, each of the little mummies has 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, a pair of eyes, and a mouth. Very alien. Very alien. Tomographic scans revealed their skeletons. The tissue has biological nature, and their chemical composition indicates they are humans. Their DNA features 23 pairs of chromosomes, just like we have. All 4 of them are males, each with a Y chromosome. They appear human, but they are not. Dun, dun, dun. Another skeletal specialist, Dr. Edzo Vivanko, has also concluded the remains are of non-human beings. Excuse me, if we just come back up here. The tissue has biological nature and their chemical composition indicates they are humans. Their DNA features 23 pairs of chromosomes, just like we have. I mean, that's pretty strong indication that they're human, if these things even exist. However, we'll continue on. Well, the bizarre 3-fingered and 3-toed corpses have been branded fake by other scientists, Dr. Vivanko said. There are lots of details that indicate the bodies are real. To recreate a skull with these characteristics is a very difficult task. The scientist insists if they were fake, he would be the first to say and report it. He added, right now we are studying the evidence, and so far we haven't found anything to say it's a fraud, or that the bodies have been modified or altered in any way. We have lots of evidence that sets us on the path to prove that this is real. Footage of the so-called mummified alien was released in June last year in the ancient city of Nazca, Peru. The video was posted by website Gaia.com, which charges curious users money to view their exclusive paranormal content. The site claims the extraterrestrial beast's body was dug up during the excavation of the mysterious caves. Skeptic viewers pointed out the corpse looks like it is a half-finished cardboard creation. One viewer commented, what? One viewer commented, news.com.au, come on now. Come on now. If you're going to write silly articles like this, you can at least check them before you put them out, please. One viewer commented, something seems off. The corpse looks like it was made of plaster. Yes, it did. Earlier this year, The Sun reported how the discovery prompted a number of experts and conspiracy theorists to offer their opinion. In a short documentary on the bizarre find, Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, a professor at the St. Petersburg University, claimed these features are not a deformity, claiming they are another creature, another humanoid. The article originally appeared in The Sun and is republished here with permission. Okay, let's... They very much do look like plaster. This is from metro.co.uk. News, but not as you know it. Let's see if there's any new information in here. Their anatomic structure is different. Yes, the video's creators are trying to charge people to download information from their website. World Congress on Mummy Studies has described the find as a fraud and calls it an irresponsible organised campaign of disinformation. Nigel Watson, author of the UFO Investigations Manual, said, "I think the whole saga of finding these mummies is laughable, and they are very probably fakes." Yeah. This is all fake. I don't know why this is blown up so much. I mean, come on, guys. Look at this. Elongated head and just 3 fingers on each hand. Has a different anatomical structure to humans. This is so silly. Is this deformed mummy discovered in Peru for real? This is from June. This one. It's just the same article, just from earlier. This is the definition of fake news. But at least it's fun. You know, at least we can have some fun with this. These deformed mummies with elongated heads and 3 fingers that look like they're made of plaster and genetically appear to be human but are clearly not human because reasons. All right. I think that's enough of the news for now. We're gonna leave out on this. Gonna leave out on this one. I'm gonna be on Twitch later today, streaming the newly released game Ghost of a Tale. It's a game that I played a few years back, which I absolutely loved. It was fantastic stuff. When I say I played it a couple of years ago, it was very, very early in development at that point, and only a very limited amount of content was available. But nonetheless, I absolutely loved my time with it, and I've been keenly looking forward to the final release, which was just overnight for me a few hours ago. So I'm going to be back doing a co-commentary of that with my friend Prisoner on Twitch later today. And I'll put that on Twitter and let you know when that's happening. And thanks for tuning in. The next one of these, which will hopefully be a bit better. You know, it's the sort of thing where it's going to, you know, once I started kind of get into the hang of it, because this is all new to me. Once I start to get more into the hang of it, hopefully we'll be having more fun with it. It'll be a bit smoother, and I can get some articles from viewers in. That'd be great. We can all have a bit of a laugh together. And the next one of these will be not tomorrow, day after. So for me, that will be on Friday at around about the same time. And essentially it's going to be every second day. We're going to be doing this 4 times a week. Likely Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then either Saturday or Sunday. I haven't entirely settled on that. We may do it 3 times a week, and then every fortnight do one on the weekend, or possibly 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then on either Saturday or Sunday, depending on what I'm able to do, we can just have a fun, relaxed stream. I think I'd like to do that. But yeah, if you come along to the Ghost of a Tale stream, then I'll see you later today. If not, then I will see you on Friday. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.